tip of England is over there somewhere. Can't see it, but I can see on Google Maps and we just passed it and we're on the way up to Ireland. So I just picked up the signal from the UK. I can't get any text or anything through, just the message from Air telling me I connect to the UK network. But yeah, it's about 4 o'clock on Friday, and last night I had a great night's sleep. I cannot tell you how well I slept. I ate lightly, a little sandwich, one of my own, and my couple of glasses of wine, and I went to bed early. I went to bed at 9 o'clock. Well, I went to bed actually at 8 o'clock, and I read for an hour and passed out. And I woke this morning at 7, and I got up and had a shower and a shave, and I made myself went up and got some hot water, made myself a cup of tea, and I had 6 little pain au chocolat, small little ones. And so I had 6 little pain au chocolat. And the joke is, if I was waiting to queue to pay for them, first I got 2, I was waiting in the queue to pay for them, and I'd eaten by the time the queue got halfway up, I went back, got 2 more, and by the time I got halfway up by those eating, I went back, got 2 more. So I had 6 croissants. Or not croissant, pain au chocolat, but teensy-weensy ones. A cup of tea, and then I read my book for a while, and had a walk around the boat and around the deck and whatever. And then I went back down to my cabin. I thought I'd lie down for a minute, and I woke up at 3 o'clock. So, boy, have I been sleeping. And so I just had some food. Finished off the food I brought with me from Spain. They must have one of my swassi sauce. The sauce was lovely actually. It's have a smoked cured pork, really nice. And had one of those sandwiches, had a bit of chocolate and a cup of tea. And I'm just sitting outside now. It's lovely and warm, the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day, but every now and then little drops of rain just hit me now, just there on my legs. So all is good. We should be in on time around 9 o'clock. Hopefully I'll be off the boat quickly, and then I will ride up to Niall and Clare. It's only about an hour and a half max, and spend the night with them, see them and have a chat. That'll be nice, good to see them. And then tomorrow morning ride home and be home for lunchtime tomorrow. That's the plan. So I want to start sharing with you what I've learned on this trip. Let me start by talking about what I packed. So one of the guys I ride out with from Tribes motorcycle group in Galway, Rossa, I asked him, because he does a lot of long distance travel on the bike. I asked him what did he recommend, what should I do? He said bring twice as much money and half as much gear. And that sort of really sums up what I learned from this trip. So a couple of quick insights. The first one is that I brought far too much gear, and in a moment I'm going to go through my bag and just show you what I brought and what I actually used, and you're going to get a shock. The second thing is the whole thing of camping in somewhere like Morocco, for example, is completely unnecessary. Hotels are super cheap, food is super cheap, so camping and cooking and things in Morocco makes no sense at all. And to be honest with you, conditions are rough there once you're outside of it. Even the campsites aren't great, so you're better off without it, unless you want to do it for economic reasons, like to keep costs down, or you want a wild camp because you want to go places where there is nobody, for sure, then camping and cooking your own food, whatever, makes sense. But otherwise it really makes no sense. In general, cooking the food at all makes no sense. So I've brought back all the food I brought with me, all of it, untouched. So I've all these dried sachets, the noodles, the couscous, the flavorings, and the seasonings that my daughter gave me. All of this, all the oat cakes and so on and so forth. I'm bringing it all back, untouched. I never touched it once, never ate any of it, because it wasn't necessary. And again, if you're going out into the outback type of thing, yeah, sure, it makes sense. Otherwise, it makes no sense at all. I didn't need to bring any of that. What I needed was my little kettle to boil up water, a little super little stove that my daughter Ellie gave me, that little burner with 1 cylinder of gas. 1 cylinder of gas lasted me the whole trip. I wasn't cooking meals, but I was boiling up water a few times a day, and it lasted me the whole trip. So 1 cylinder of gas, and you can get gas anywhere, so 1 little cylinder of gas would have been sufficient. I brought 3. And okay, so you get the point. So the next thing is camping in Spain and Portugal, and indeed in France, when not on this trip or previous trips, and the United Kingdom. That definitely makes sense for a number of reasons. The first one is that you never have to really worry about a bed. You don't have to book anything. When you get somewhere, a general area, you can say, okay, what's around. You look, search for sites or iOverlander. There's lots of apps there. They're the two that I use. But there are lots of apps out there. And you just say, what's around? You find a campsite nearby. There's always room for somebody with a tent. Coming with a motorhome might be different, but if you're coming with a tent, there's always room for a tent. I think once in my life, on all the trips I've ever had, did I show up somewhere and they were completely full, a municipal one, and they were completely full. And I just went to the one like 5 minutes down the road. There was plenty of room, so I've never had a problem. Second thing about camping is campings are lovely because you meet people. People who camp are different from people who go to hotels. They're looking for a different kind of experience. It's not really about economics. It can be partially about economics for sure, but it's not really about economics. I think that camping is just a way of being. People like that freedom, and like to just pitch their tent, meet people, chat to their neighbours, go up to a little restaurant on the campsite, and so on. You get the idea. So I recommend camping in that regard. But if you don't want to camp, the truth of the matter is that in Spain and Portugal particularly, accommodation is cheap. Probably 40-50 quid a night you can accommodate yourself. Now, I mean, that's more expensive than Morocco, but it's still very inexpensive compared to Irish prices. I like to eat my own food, but I found that the food is so good and so inexpensive in Spain and Portugal and Morocco. Morocco, the food was wonderful. It's so inexpensive, so good that in the little cafes that you get on a campsite, you don't have to go to some fine restaurant down the world. The cafes are perfect. They'll do you like the dinner I had in the last campsite and all the previous campsites. You get these wonderful meals. It's actually real food. It's a real little restaurant cooked by a real chef. It's not something like Ireland where they slapdash some sort of burger or something and throw it in front of you and it tastes like what. This is really, really nice food. I've never had a bad meal at a campsite. Like never. Even when you get the old ubiquitous pizza, it's actually usually really, really nice. So I think you really need to think about this, whether you need all this stuff. In terms of gear, I'll be looking at my clothes now in a moment and showing you that. But in terms of gear, the bike gear itself, the problem I had on this trip was, of course, I was in Ireland, going to the UK, spending a few days in the UK doing the ORS, and then driving down to the UK and going to Spain. And I wasn't sure what the weather was going to be like in the UK, so I had to sort of dress for Irish UK weather and dress for everything right down as far as the Sahara. From 5 degrees to 40 degrees. And that presents a challenge, but not as big a challenge as you would think. One good layer of underclothes, like for example my merino wool top and leggings and this fleece, that's really all you need extra for the cold weather versus the hot weather. And you just peel it off. In terms of what I wore, I'm wearing a running top here and I'm wearing a pair of running shorts. And I have my sneakers on, my running shoes on. That's all I wore for this trip. So I had 2 sets of running shorts, 2 t-shirts like this, 2 pairs of socks to wear inside my boots, this fleece, and then my biker jacket and the inside jacket I wear with it. That's the totality of what I required. I brought running socks. I brought other like 4 or 5 pairs of thick socks to wear in my boots. I brought rain jackets. I brought underwear. I brought underwear that I never wore, and so on. So I had a big bag of clothes, and I never wore any of it. So here's my bag of clothes. They're the pair of socks I've left aside to wear this evening when I get into my bike gear. Over here, I'm in the bedroom of the cabin on the ship. There's my inside jacket I wear the bike, my outside jacket, my trousers, and my boots. You see the sneakers on my feet, And you can see here, if you look in the mirror, there I am, there's my running shorts and top and this fleece. So what else do I have in here? Well, here's the other running shorts and top and the pair of socks I was wearing yesterday that are going home for the wash. Here's my toilet bag. And then here's everything else, none of which were ever used. I brought, for example, there's the underwear, the leggings and top, which I do recommend. Those are the ones I wore in bed when I was cold, and those are the ones I wore when I was going across the UK. They were definitely good. Here is another top, another t-shirt, another t-shirt, another t-shirt, another t-shirt. There is a running jacket, and there is another layer of fleece, a lighter fleece, and there is my walking jacket, my waterproof walking jacket. Here are extra pairs of socks, running socks, my swimming shorts. I went swimming twice, both times in the Naturals camp, so I didn't need them. Never went swimming anywhere else. And then down here I have a pair of trousers that I bought, another pair of shorts I brought, and underwear. So this is all the stuff I brought, all of which, really and truly, that's, by the way, in case you're wondering what that is, that's the band I bought for my broken ribs. So yeah, I used it once and I just found it really, really hard on me, so I stopped using it. I found it actually, I think it caused me more pain than not, so I stopped using it. Here is my bag of food, and in here I have, just opens here, in here I have, there's my little pot, and the gas cylinder is inside it. There's some sauce I bought, the chocolate, some of the ham I bought yesterday. There's a sausage I bought, and some tea bags. I don't know what I was thinking about. I brought two packets full of mint tea bags to a country that drinks nothing but mint tea. There's a sausage and stuff. And here's all the dried food I brought, none of which I ever touched. Here's my laptop case, and in there I have my Remarkable that I do keep my log on. I did almost no logging, I did almost no writing. I was doing the videos and I just didn't write. I was doing it, it became sort of meaningless because I was saying everything I wanted to say in the videos. There's the laptop I brought, and I brought my mouse, which is really handy. And a load of other cables and things I brought, and of course I left the charger, the adapter for the plug. I left in the socket in one of the camps I was in. Here's the battery backup pack which I charged on the bike, which is really, really handy. So when you sort of look at this, you realise that I could probably have gone on this holiday with the equivalent of this little bag here, that size in total, between my food, my cooking stuff and my clothes. I didn't need any of this. It was completely OTT. But you think when you're going away, you know, I need stuff, I need extra stuff, and actually you don't. And just while I'm here in the cabin, I'm going to do a quick quick walk around and show you the cabin. In 713, which is the one I was 7130, which is the one I was on the way back over. It's really nice. And for example, they've even got this little mirror for women for doing their makeup. It's got a TV in it. I've never turned it on. I've no idea. They have lots of sockets, including USB sockets, so you can plug USB things in directly. A little sort of a chair and super small decks, but big enough for me to work on my laptop. I actually knocked down a second bed so I could lay my stuff out. I close that bed up before I go, make it all nice and tidy. There's a bed where I was sleeping last night. They have this lovely little feature here. It looks like a lovely view out on the sea. Of course it's not. It's just an LED light at the back of it. But it's nice, a nice feature. You can see here they've got these little lights beside the bed, which are lovely. It works super well. You can see here a control for the temperature. You can turn the temperature up or down depending on what you want. And here's the bathroom. I'll show you the bathroom. Lovely little bathroom. I think the facility is really, really good. I think in general that Brittany Ferries are a really good service. they just seem to be way ahead of the competition. I know these are new ships that they're using, but they're super clean, super nice. The food is really good on them. Service is good. So I think it's a really good value. I'm a great subscriber to Brittany Ferries. I think they do a really good job. Just going to tell you now what the trip has cost. And this is really, really interesting. And for me, very surprising. So I'm excluding the ferry to England, and I'm excluding the money I spent in England on the training with ORS and my food and things and the camping in the UK, for the obvious reasons. I'm just going to allow for the trip to Spain, Portugal and Morocco. To that extent, I've doubled the ferry, so I've allowed the ferry down from Ireland and back from Ireland. So I took the ferry, the one-way ferry, and just doubled it. And so here we go, and it's really, really interesting. So the first thing is my ferries. So my ferries cost me 928. There was 750 to get from Ireland to Spain and back, and 100 and almost 200 to get to Morocco and back. Now, in that, I made a mistake. You could actually take 50 out of that because I actually booked and paid twice. I paid a return ticket the first time, and then I went back a different way and I'd pay again. So in reality, that was really only about 100 quid, the ferry to 115 quid, let's say, to and back from Morocco. My petrol cost me 520 euro. My food cost me, and that includes all the wine. My food and stuff cost me 540 euro. My accommodation cost me 520 euro. And then miscellaneous, like for example, the bike insurance cost 100 quid, the SIM card in Morocco cost 30 quid, and so on. So the miscellaneous were 170. So my total cost, and if you take out the ferry that I paid twice for, the total cost about 2,600 euro. Now, I want to just give you a sense of perspective. 2,600 euro, that's about 100 quid a day. So if you take out the UK bit, I had about 26 days, let's say, in on my journey to and from, and my time in Spain, Portugal and Morocco. So 100 euro a day, including my petrol, which was quite chunky if you think about it. And my petrol was as much as my food and accommodation. They're all about the same, all just a little over 500 quid. 520 for petrol, 540 for food, 520 for accommodation, 900 quid or a bit less for my ferries, and then my other bits and pieces, 170 quid. So, you know, 100 euro a day, including your petrol, your food, your booze, your accommodation, and you know, it's your ferries. I think it's really, really good value. And where else would you go away for a month for 2,600 quid? I mean, great value for money. You have to remember that there's only me. There weren't two of me. Like previously on previous trips, I was paying for myself and another. And obviously, two people eat more and drink more, and there's more petrol. Most holidays I had were two bikes. So I was paying for somebody on a second bike. Obviously that would change the pricing, but nonetheless, I think even if you two people, if you add on another 1,000 quid, that would have covered the petrol and the food and everything for a second person. So I just think it's really good value for money, a wonderful holiday, and I feel like I got great value, and that's important to me. Hey guys, what you see me just finishing on a couple of squares of green and black 85% cocoa chocolate. Oh yeah, can't beat it. One of the real bonuses of being home. So you can see I'm here. I'm back in the house in Bannerrobe, and so the boat docked early. Actually, we were supposed to get in at 9 o'clock. I think we were off the boat at 8:30 or 8:45. Straight through passport and customs, like right through, and on the road. I was at Niall's place in an hour, and it was wonderful. So Niall and Claire welcomed me, and show you in a second the shot of us with the pizza and the glass of wine. In fact, it was more than a pizza and a glass of wine. It was a pizza and I think a bottle and a half of wine. Claire, my sister-in-law, and Niall. And here is the pizza and the glass of wine. Well earned, well deserved. I mean, fed. But it's great to have somewhere you can go where you're always welcome. And I really, really appreciate Niall and Claire. Just a wonderful, wonderful couple. I love going to visit them. So I ate and drank and of course downloaded. It was a great opportunity at the end of the trip to just talk about the trip. You know, I've had nobody to talk about really except on the videos. So it's wonderful to have that opportunity. And we chatted till almost 1 o'clock. Got up this morning about 7 and was gone out of there around 8:30, I think. And rode straight home. It was 3 hours straight home. Rained the whole way. It was 12.5 degrees. What a change from Spain and Portugal and Morocco. I mean, 12.5 was sort of really cold. I had my heated grips on the whole way over. Of course, I had all my gear, so it didn't really matter that it was wet. I saw Climb's great gear, Gore-Tex, and keeps me roasty and toasty. So got home and did all the usual, as you'd imagine. Unpacked the bike, put on the laundry, went out and did the shopping, made the bed. So all the things that you have to do when you come home, went out and did them. And then I made myself some food. Just finished eating now, made myself some food, my first bite today. And had salad from my own garden. It's amazing what happens in 4 weeks. The growth in the garden is just phenomenal. When I went away, there was nothing, and now I come back, it's like a wilderness. And so a couple of thoughts for you on the trip. So the first thing is, I really enjoyed making the videos and putting them up there. I didn't feel alone on the journey. I felt I was sharing it with people who I care about. And yeah, so I had the real sense of people were on the journey with me. It was very, very important. And I thank everybody who posted comments, the good, the bad, and the ugly ones. The second point I'd make is, I'm reflecting on the holiday, chatting last night to Niall, my brother Niall and his wife Claire. I'm reflecting on it. I think if I were doing it again, I would probably add €1,000 to the budget and not camp at all. And stay in small pensions, hotels, hostels, whatever, in Spain and Portugal, like I did in Morocco. The camping is wonderful. I really like the camping, but I don't sleep well. It sort of takes over. Find the campsite, get your tent pitched, and then you're sort of confined to it, particularly the tent I have where I'm tying up the bike, sort of confined to the site. You're never really in an environment where you can go out and walk around and go to the local bar or the local tapas place or whatever. And I sort of missed that, I think, to a certain extent. So the budget came in, as you know, I came in at €100 a day. And I think what I probably have done is put another 20 or 30 euro a day on the budget and stayed in small hotels. I think the broken ribs and the bashed toe didn't help for sure. Maybe if I hadn't had those, I would have enjoyed that aspect of it more. Last thought, my brother Niall asked me last night, would I go back to Africa? That was an interesting question because I would love to go down and do the west coast of Africa. Mauritania, Senegal, Gabon, right down to Cote d'Ivoire. I mean, the whole, and maybe even go down to South Africa, work my way down the west coast. I'm not sure that's actually possible. There's a lot of strife in that part of the world. I'm not sure it's actually possible, but it would be lovely to do that. Do I have the courage to do it? I'm not sure. I want to go to Turkey. I actually planned to go to Turkey originally this year. I might yet go and do Turkey as my next run and maybe rethink whether I would do Africa again. Also, the idea of riding down and taking the ferry down. The ferry, the return fare of the ferry was whatever, it was €700-800 I can ship the bike down to Malaga, for example, south of Spain, or down to south of Austria, for that money, down and back with overlanders. And I think that probably the next time what I will do is I will ship the bike somewhere and just fly down, because you spend half your holiday getting to where you want to go, getting there and getting home. And you can make that into a holiday, but I think that if I want to do the Adriatic, for example, and go down through Croatia and all these places, and down to Greece and Turkey and come back via Italy, which is sort of what I planned, I really want the time there. I don't want the time riding through countries I'm already familiar with. I just, tearing down there trying to get somewhere. I want to be able to take my time. The next observation I have is I did about 400 kilometers a day. And you'll see, in fact, I'll pop up on the screen the total mileage I did over the whole journey. And you'll see it. But I did about 400 kilometers a day. I think I cut that back to about 300 kilometers a day. And I noticed the last few days when I was up in northern Spain, northern Portugal, northern Spain, I had a 2 or 3 days excess, or to spare if you wish. And as a consequence, I did less mileage, and I think I enjoyed myself more. I had more time off, I stopped more, took more photographs, this kind of stuff. I was less concerned with pushing on. So I think that I would cut back on the mileage, back to about 300 kilometers a day. And any other observations? Going on my own, I sort of enjoyed that. It would be nice to have company. It would be nice to have one other person perhaps to do it with. But I'm happy to do it on my own, and I'd be happy to head off on another one. And the last observation is there's no doubt my skills have improved. The riding the bike, even riding up from Niall and Clare's to home here in Ballinrobe today, this morning in the pouring rain, I felt completely in control of the bike. I was just went around. I mean, it's funny, when after doing the kind of switchbacks and curves and bends and hills I've been doing, riding the Irish roads, there isn't a bend on them. And I used to think were really hard corners. Now I just think I just fly around. So I think, I got a lot of practice. The month is long. I think 3 weeks is enough. Or if I was doing a month, I'd like to stop somewhere. So for example, if I was going down to Turkey, I'd like to ride down, ship the bike halfway there, ride down to Turkey, and then stop maybe for a few days and then continue riding. I think the break in the middle would really help. I think the 4 weeks of continuous riding is too much. Well, too much for me. I think I would like to do less. Again, the injuries didn't help. And maybe if they weren't there, I would have been more comfortable doing more. For sure, I was ready to come home. So in fact, had the ferry gone a day or two earlier, I'd have hopped on it. So I was ready to come home, and I'm glad to be home. And I'm looking forward to weeding my garden and cutting the grass and sleeping in my own bed and so on. So I enjoyed being away, but I'm happy to be back as well. I'm probably going to go down to Spain again early September. I've been talking to some people on the ferry who actually are renting down there for the winter. And I'm probably going to go down and have a look at the area where they're in and a couple of other areas, and see about finding somewhere that I can go down and spend a few months in the winter down there. Somewhere where it's bright, where the sun just shines occasionally, where it's not just always raining. So that's it, guys. It's been a wonderful trip. And I appreciate, again, as I say, I appreciate anybody who watched the videos. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I enjoyed making them. And I look forward to the next trip. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.